Meanwhile, it's time for us to, we've talked about how we wanted to get out of controversy.
Yeah.
Got to drag me back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so headline for those who might be just listening in, brought to us by Bounding Into Comics, among other sources. DC Comics writer Mags Visaggio reveals rejected pitch for Superboy series featuring a transgender Connor Kent. So, for those who might not know, Mags Visaggio is one of those online creators who kind of became infamous, kind of one of the YouTube Comicsgate punching bags,
Yes.
because Mags is trans,
Mhm.
but outside of that, Mags is not a terribly great writer.
No, she is not.
I can say this despite not having directly read something, because okay, so we've also, anybody who's been in comics YouTube has watched people do these breakdown reviews, and if you're like me, you will occasionally uh, watch a video where you think to yourself, you might be being too harsh, or you're acting like this is great, and I just don't see it.
Mm,
Like the actual work will bleed through, and your reaction to it will.
right.
I never once thought that a Mags thing that I saw being reviewed was being treated unfairly. Mags has like a very silly sense of humor that is brought into situations that aren't really conducive to it.
Yeah.
Mags even got a TV show made out of one of her comics, Vagrant Queen.
Which was canceled after what, four
AC,
episodes?
yeah,
Yeah.
a few episodes on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Do I feel like uh, engaging in some ad hominems that that do provide some context for who Mags is as a person? Um, Actually, I will keep it to the direct things.
Okay.
Mags is fond of the theory that Kurt Cobain was trans. Why? Because there were a few times where Kurt Cobain was, yeah, judging by the look in your eyes, you were spared this particular bit of stupidity.
No, I had never heard that. No.
Yeah. Mags is fond of the theory that Kurt Cobain was trans because on a few occasions, Kurt Cobain was photographed wearing a dress, when the whole thing with the 90s grunge scene was you were pushing boundaries and things.
That
Like,
that's yeah. That's like saying Dennis Rodman is trans because he wore a wedding dress one time.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So very specious reasoning to get to there.
Mhm.
But it's you get the impression that it's partially being done just for the attention.
Yeah.
Uh, the reason this particular story idea irritated me so much, and Holy Ninja, this would have been in main continuity,
Hmm.
is that the last major now Bounding into Comics describes Mags as a DC writer. To the best of my knowledge, the last big project that Mags did was for them was a one-shot starring Ginny Hex, who is who was a lesbian character, who I only bring up because there was an interview that I saw people comment on at the time where Mag was expressing unhappiness that, hey, I really wanted to write Connor Kent. That was, my hero. And I'm kind of tired of being pigeonholed as the LGBTQ writer. That,
Hmm.
that would have been fun. And I am enough of a softie that despite thinking that Magdalene Visaggio is not a particularly great writer, I could sympathize with that. You know what? That would suck to kind of end up in that situation where they only give you those assignments.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be frustrated with it too. Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
Right? It'd be the same thing if you. Well, it's like what happened with Christopher Priest, where he was pitching Spider-Man and yeah, at some point he went from being allowed to write Spider-Man and Wolverine to something like, hey, you want to do a Blade storyline? You want to do a Black Panther storyline? Like, only we're giving him black characters. Like,
Yeah.
the comic book industry is oddly racist or discriminatory with its attempts at diversity.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I could sympathize with that. I thought that, I felt bad.
Yeah.
I want my sympathy back because what Mags recently put up a proposal about turning Connor Kent into Connie Kent. Like, you wanted to write a Superboy Connor Kent story specifically to, to basically turn Connor into yourself. You were tired of being pigeonholed, so you decided to pigeonhole yourself.
Hey.
So the issue wasn't that you were being pigeonholed as the writer who was only allowed to do LGBTQ stories. You just wanted a bigger target.
Right. Yeah.
Now, thankfully, Mags has handled the so Mags. This is not happening. Mags has posted the proposal online as if it was the greatest concept ever. Holy Ninja Toe says it's not that much of a surprise. Oh, it isn't a surprise. I was just naive and and believed in people.
Yeah.
A classic mistake.
Yeah.
But there's something that as I've gotten older, I've started to realize. Uh, Takes where you totally transform a character into something unrecognizable are extremely selfish. Like, did you ever see the Seth Rogen Green Hornet movie?
Yes.
What was your take on it?
I liked Kato, but the rest of it was terrible.
Yeah, see, at the time I rather enjoyed it, but looking back, I think to myself, if I'd been a Green Hornet fan and I really uh, and and I'd been really looking forward to that coming to this big screen, that is not Green Hornet.
No.
That is somebody taking the piss out of the concept. Because, oh, we can't just do a straightforward story about a heroic newspaper man. Now we got to have it be his drug-addled son.
Yeah. Yeah. And getting and having the Asian chauffeur screwing around with him.
Yeah. Turning Connor Kent into Connie Kent, aka Skyrocket, which that's an awful superhero name. I'm sorry. It's not taken, but it's not taken for a reason.
Yeah.
That is fundamentally transforming the character. Now they've done some fundamental transformations of this character before, because went from this kind of 90s kind of punk version to Jeff Johns turned him into basically a muscle-bound jock for about 10 years there.
Yeah, and that's how he was portrayed in Young Justice.
Yeah. Things like this is not something that you could undo.
Yeah.
Like they've basically reverted Connor back to his 90s costume and appearance. You make a character trans and unless it's just people being completely okay, I should say, as a comic book, you could in theory have a storyline where a character is gender bent for a bit.
Yeah.
And that's undone by space magic.
Mhm.
But this would not ever be undone. And the thing is, there's already way too many Supergirls out there.
Yes, there are.
Just thinking off the top of my head, I could think of at least 3 or 4 different versions.
Yeah, you have Supergirl, Kara Zor-El. You got Power Girl.
You've got that 90s version who was like the angel metamorphic
yeah.
thing, which was like the closest they would allow to having a Supergirl because they it was post-crisis and they didn't want more Kryptonians.
Yeah.
Which I actually really liked that version, but that might just be because of what I grew up with.
Yeah.
There was a black-haired Supergirl who was running around at some point in the 2000s, which now that I think about it, might have been the basis for the one from The Flash in terms of character design.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're missing a few, but there have been a lot of Supergirls. There have
Yeah.
really only been 2 Superboys. Well, 3 if you count Superman himself, but we're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Superboys as distinct characters from Clark Kent. We've
Yeah.
had Connor, we've had John Kent.
Yeah.
And, we don't need another Supergirl,
Yeah.
especially because the entire logic for making Connor trans is don't ever call me Superboy. Yeah. Yeah, it's not because he was a teen who wants to be seen as a man. No.
Yeah.
Other arguments that Mags made in favor of this characterization was, look, he dresses like a lesbian, and he has the musical taste of a '90s lesbian.
He's stereotyping much.
Yeah, it's. We've given this more attention than it deserves because it's not like it's a proposal that's actually happening.
Yeah.
But what pushed me to wanting to talk about this was just that, there are certain people where, again, I'm a bleeding heart on some level.
Mm-hmm.
I need to stop that because there are some people who just kind of deserve what they get.
Yeah.
And somebody at DC Comics had the brains to go, you know what? This is a stillborn concept that would ruin a character that, even if he's kind of superfluous these days,
Yeah. Let's not do it.
let's not do it. No.
Yeah.
I,
Do you feel better?
I feel better. I feel
Okay.
better.